Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into freelancing in 2024. That whole be your own boss thing everyone's talking about.
It's more than just talk, that's for sure.
Right. So we've got three awesome sources to unpack today. First up, the Upwork Freelance Income Report. They've got all the juicy stats on what freelancers are actually earning.
Always good to start with the numbers.
Then we're digging into Skill Crush's guide to, well, crushing it as a freelancer.
Yeah.
Think practical tips and strategies.
Love those actionable takeaways.
And to wrap it up, we've got Luna Invoice's guide to, the unsexy but oh so important stuff, like making sure you actually get paid for your amazing work.
Can't argue with that. The money part is kind of essential.
Understatement. Okay, so the big question, why is everyone suddenly obsessed with freelancing?
Yeah, it's not exactly sudden.
True, true. But it seems like it's exploding.
Yeah, and for good reason. I mean, just look at the numbers from Upwork. A whopping 64 million Americans freelanced this year alone. 64 million. That's massive.
64 million. That's like what the entire population of I don't even know. There's a lot of people.
Exactly. And there are a bunch of reasons why this is happening. First off, companies are realizing they need specialized skills for shorter-term projects. Freelancers are perfect for that, that they bring the expertise without the long-term commitment.
Makes sense. It's like having an all-star team on call, but you only pay for what you need.
Precisely. And then there's the whole platform thing. Places like Upwork, Fiverr, they've made it incredibly easy to connect with clients all over the world.
Oh, yeah. It's not like the old days of like putting up flyers at coffee shops or something.
Exactly. And of course, let's not forget the whole work-life balance thing. Freelancing often means setting your own hours, working from wherever you want.
Sipping margaritas on the beach while you code or, whatever it is you do.
Yeah, if that's your dream. But seriously, that flexibility is a huge draw for a lot of people. Remember that freelancer we talked about who loved working from their local coffee shop? That could be you.
Okay, that does sound kind of amazing. But let's be real. You're probably thinking, sure, that's all great, but can I actually make a decent living as a freelancer?
It's the million-dollar question, right?
So how much money are we talking about? Spill the tea? Upwork.
All right, hold your horses. According to Upwork, the average U.S. freelancer is earning, wait for it, $99,000 a year.
No way. Seriously, $99,000.
Yep, you heard that right. Close to six figures while setting your own hours. Not too shabby, eh?
Not too shabby at all. But I'm guessing it's not all sunshine and roses. Is that the whole story?
Well, there's a bit more to it than that. Upwork also points out that freelance income can vary, like a lot.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Everyone's experience is different.
Right. We're talking a range here. Some freelancers are pulling in around $31,000 a year.
Okay, still not bad.
Definitely not. While others are raking in a cool $275,000.
No, hold up. $275,000.
Okay, now I'm just jealous. So what's the magic formula? What separates the six-figure freelancers from the rest of us mere mortals?
Well, Upwork breaks it down into a few key factors. First up, experience level. Just like any job, the more experience you have, the more you can command.
Makes sense. You're not going to walk in as a newbie and demand top dollar. Exactly. Then there's your skill set, those in-demand specialized skills. Yeah, those are gold.
So like knowing how to train a dragon or something.
Well, maybe not that specific, but you get the idea. Think niche coding languages, high-level marketing strategy, that kind of thing.
Got it, got it. So experience skills dot. Yeah.
What else? Location. Believe it or not. Upwork found that freelancers in certain states tend to earn more, on average.
Really? Like where? California? New York?
You nailed it. Those are definitely up there. And then, of course, there's your online reputation. Those client reviews can make or break you.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. It's like the online version of word of mouth.
Exactly. And finally, your pricing strategy can make a big difference. We'll dig into that more later. But it's not always as simple as setting an hourly rate and calling it a day.
Ooh, getting into the nitty-gritty now. Okay, so we've got this range of potential earnings, but can we get specific? Like, what are some real-world examples of what different freelance roles actually pay?
Let's dive into that. Upwork's report actually gives us some juicy details. For example, public relations managers are sitting pretty on the higher end. They can earn anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour.
Whoa! $100 an hour to craft press releases and schmooze with journalists? Sign me up!
Right. Clearly, businesses are willing to shell out big bucks for someone who can manage their image effectively. But what about those of us who aren't PR gurus? Well, SkillCrush highlighted content marketing managers who can earn a very respectable $24 to $60 per hour.
Okay, so good writers and marketers are in demand too.
Absolutely. And it's interesting when you compare that to what Upwork found. For programmers, they're looking at around $21 to $55 per hour.
Wait, so you're telling me writers and coders are earning roughly the same amount?
It seems that way, based on these reports. It just goes to show that there's a huge range of skills that are valuable in the freelance world. You don't necessarily need to be a tech whiz to build a successful freelance career.
That is good news for those of us who can barely code our way out of a paper bag. So it's not just about the technical skills then.
Nope. Remember what we said about online presence? Skill Crush really hammered that home. They stressed the importance of building a strong portfolio to showcase your work. Think of it as your digital resume.
Right, because nobody's going to hire you if they can't see what you can do.
Exactly. And Moon Invoice echoed that sentiment. They said your website is like your digital storefront. It gives potential clients a glimpse into your expertise, your style, your professionalism, the whole package.
So we've talked about the earning potential, the skills, the importance of online presence. But what about the actual business side of freelancing? You know, the less glamorous stuff like contracts and invoices and all that jazz.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be chasing down payments or dealing with, like, awkward money conversations.
The worst. But honestly, that's where a lot of new freelancers stumble. They're so focused on landing gigs that they forget about the whole getting paid part, which, let's be real, is kind of important.
Kind of the point, right?
Exactly. And Moon Invoice had some really solid advice here. Like, first off, don't be afraid to talk about money up front.
Oh, I hate those conversations. But you're right. Got to rip off the Band-Aid.
Right. It's way better to be on the same page from the get-go. And then there's the whole pricing model thing. Moon Invoice suggests using fixed fees for projects with a clearly defined scope. So like, I'll build you a website for $5,000 kind of thing.
Exactly. But for ongoing work, hourly rates might make more sense. They even have templates on their site to help you figure it all out.
Ooh, templates are my love language. Saves so much time and brain power.
Right. And speaking of saving yourself headaches, Moon Invoice, not surprisingly, highly recommends using invoicing software. It just streamlines everything and helps you stay organized.
Yeah, nobody wants to be that freelancer who forgets to invoice for 6 months. Or like, ever.
Talk about leaving money on the table. But even with all the right tools and systems, taking that leap into full-time freelancing can still be scary. Like, what if you're not ready to quit your day job just yet?
Right, it's a big decision.
Totally. And that's where Skill Crush's advice really resonated with me. They actually advise against diving in head first. Instead, they recommend aiming to earn like 50% to 75% of your current income from freelancing before quitting your job.
Okay, so like dipping your toes in the water before you cannonball into the deep end.
Exactly. That way you can test the waters, build your portfolio, gain confidence in your ability to actually make it as a freelancer.
All without the financial pressure of having to make rent yesterday.
Precisely. It's like having a safety net while you build your freelance empire on the side.
I love that. Building your freelance empire. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're easing into it, you're getting clients, but how do you stand out from the crowd?
Ah, the million-dollar question. Well, Skill Crush had some great advice here, too. They talked about the importance of finding your niche.
Niching down. So instead of being like a writer, you're a conversion copywriter for sustainable fashion brands or something.
You got it. It's tempting to say yes to every gig when you're starting out, but becoming an expert in a specific area allows you to command higher rates.
Because you're the go-to person for that specific thing.
Exactly. Skill Crush used the example of a web developer who specialized in Ruby on Rails, which is a pretty niche coding language. Instead of being a generalist, they became the expert in that area, and now they can charge a premium for their in-demand skills.
Okay, so niching down, becoming that specialist, got it.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're super skilled and you've got a killer niche, freelancing isn't always easy, right?
You're right. It's not always sunshine and roses. There are definitely ups and downs. You're running a business after all. It takes hustle, resilience, all that good stuff.
And a whole lot of coffee, probably.
Most definitely. But remember what Upwork found. Despite the challenges, a whopping 85% of freelancers feel positive about the future of freelancing.
That's a pretty impressive statistic. So there's definitely optimism out there.
Absolutely. And a lot of that optimism stems from the autonomy and flexibility that freelancing offers. Which brings me to my final thought for you. And it's a question posed by Skill Crush. What's one skill you have that could be valuable in the freelance world, even if you've never considered it before.
Ooh, I love that. So maybe you're a spreadsheet wizard or a master organizer, or you have a knack for crafting witty social media captions.
There you go. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
So that's our deep dives into the wild world of freelancing. We've covered a ton of ground today, from the earning potential to the importance of niching down to the nitty-gritty of getting paid. We hope this has inspired you to explore the possibilities and maybe even take that first step towards freelance freedom. Thanks for listening.